Okay, take number 3. Do we think that we can get this actually happening this morning? Wow. So sorry. So let's see if I can get this up on my iPad again. Says I'm live there. Okay, are we back? Are we back? Yes, we are. Okay, let's see if we can stay on here live right now. 3 times a charm. Like, honestly, do we think maybe we can craft now? For the 3rd time, do we think that this will actually work? So I'm so sorry. I'm just going to angle my camera a little bit better. I need to. Okay. I just wanted to zoom in a little bit, but it won't let me do it. But anyway, you're going to get to see the side of my desk. I'm so sorry. It's going to be a bit messy looking, but well, let's get on with this crafting and let's see if we can get this to happen. So once again, oops, that's crooked. Once again, let's see if that goes straight. There we go. Okay, so we will get on to crafting. You are being so patient with me this morning. I have never had, this is the best broadcast. Wow, I can't believe it. It's just like I'm all over the shop. But anyway, I'm back and I'm going to use the coordination products and I'm going to get into crafting straight away so that we don't end up not getting this crafting done. Okay, so I'm going to use the Special Someone bundle. I'm Donna Gray, Stampin Up Demonstrator. If this is the final time or the first time that you've jumped on to watch, I'm a mess. I'm all over the shop this morning, but I'll get it together. Special Someone, it's on page number 36, wasn't it? I think we said page 36 in our new catalogue. Yes, 36 in the new catalogue. Special Someone, $30. Super, super cute. I now know that it's a raccoon. So we have a raccoon, we have a squirrel, and we have a mouse in this. It's got some really, really cute sayings and some really cute little animals. So it's a fun set. So I got to the fact that we have this Whisper White layer that is 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored at 4 inches. And I use the thick Whisper White so that it is more sturdy rather than using our thin Whisper White. It's just too thin and it just won't do the job. So we've got the thick Whisper White. I have a layer of Mango Melody. The layer of Mango Melody is cut at 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. So 1/4 inch smaller than the front of my card. So that actually just gives me like an 1/8 inch border all the way around, which is what I want. And I'm also going to, I've got a Whisper White piece here. Now the Whisper White piece I've cut an 1/8 inch smaller than what my layer is. So I just want a slither of that Mango Melody to come in behind that Whisper White layer. But I'm also going to emboss that Whisper White layer with this gorgeous embossing folder that we have. Now this is brand new. This goes with the Parisian Blossoms suite. So this is the Parisian Blossoms suite. There is so many lovely things in this catalogue that you will definitely not be disappointed. So this is where the embossing folder is $17. But I have used this embossing folder on nearly absolutely everything. So I'm glad you're all finding me again. I'm sorry. 3rd time is a charm, I'm hoping. So I'm hoping that the 3rd time everything's going to stay good for us. So what I'm actually going to do is this Whisper White layer that I had, I'm actually going to emboss that with this gorgeous embossing folder. So I'll move that out of the way. And I'll move those framelits out of the way. I'm going to bring in my Big Shot. Now, for this, we need just our base plate here without our thin die adapter, so just the base plate. And you have your embossing folder with your Whisper White layer inside. Now this is a 3D embossing folder and it's one of our new 3D embossing folders. So because of that, we need our new blue embossing plate. Now that new blue embossing plate is in our brand new mini catalog, so you will be able to find it. I think it retails at about $17. I can tell you, with all of our new embossing folders, it is worth purchasing the new embossing plate because it embosses so well. You get the actual correct sandwich to be able to make your embossing a dream. Now, look at that. Do you not just love that? Stunning, okay? So I'm actually going to use that on a layer on the front of the card and use our Mango Melody layer in behind. So you can see already that gives you a gorgeous card front. Now I've got a strip of the Brights Designer Series paper in the stripes, so I decided to use the stripes. Now this strip here is cut at 1.5 inches this way by 5.5 inches that way. My Mango Melody cardstock strip behind is cut at 1 3/4 inches, still by 5.5 inches, so it's flush on both ends. And I'm actually going to do that down the side of the card here. So I'm just going to grab some Tombow and I'm just going to glue some of those layers down. Now the reason that I use my Tombow is, and that one wants to be empty, so it can go. We'll try another one. The reason that I use my Tombow is it gives me that wiggle room. So I could use the spotted side or I could use the striped side. So I'm actually going to use the striped side. That's the side that I've decided to use. But the spotted side on this card would look just as nice. Thank you for finding me again, everybody. I am so sorry for the issues that I've had this morning. And you know, sometimes I think on YouTube, I might just go live on YouTube straight direct from my phone because this is the clearest that the video has ever been. So I'm starting to wonder whether the program that I have, just because you can see my face, is worth it because it tends to stream a lot worse. So I've just put a bit of Tombow glue there onto that embossed layer, and this is where you have to be this is where the Tombow comes in handy because you've got a tiny little slither of a border in behind, so it gives you the wiggle room to be able to move that around. I'm actually going to glue that directly down onto my card. You're just glad I'm here, Pamela? Thank you. So I'm just going to glue that down onto there. I was actually only discussing with my husband this morning, you know, like how I wanted my videos to be more professional, and this morning, wow, that's gone out the window totally. But, you know, it's all good. We're here and we're crafting, and that's the main thing. And it's fun chatting away with you while I get to craft and play with these beautiful products. So once again, the coordination products are coming. So for customers, they will be available on, I think it's the 3rd of February. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the 3rd of February. And they are, there's quite a few of them, and I'm going to show you some of them this morning here now. So I'm actually going to stamp the raccoon now. So with the raccoon, the sign I have, well, if I had it zoomed in, Doris is saying the sign that I have on there is a little bit small. The sign that I have, if I had my camera zoomed in the way I wanted it to, you can see it. It's my host code, just to shop for customers. So for any orders that are under $250, if you use the host code, that allows me to have giveaways that I can do on my page, like on YouTube here or on Facebook when I do Facebook videos. It allows me to get products to be able to do giveaways for you all. Okay, so we have a detailed stamp in the raccoon, and we also have a solid stamp. So I'm just going to mount those up. And I'm trying to think of what other thing we need here is, sorry, I'm just going to hide a comment here. Someone's being not so nice. We might just, I thought I could block them while I'm live, but I obviously can't. Sorry, there's just a comment here that's been held for review. So we'll just hide it. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that on a Whisper White piece of cardstock. And I've just realised I need another Whisper White piece of cardstock for my circle as well. So you're all finding me again. So that's really, really, I'm glad that you all could find me again. So I'm going to stamp the solid one in Crumb Cake. So I'm just going to do him over here. I might be able to get the two things that I need out of this one piece of cardstock if I'm lucky. So I'm just going to stamp him in Crumb Cake. So this is the solid. Thank you, Sue. Sue has said that it is the 3rd of February that the coordination products are going to be available. Now I'm going to stamp on top the detailed part. Now I'm going to stand up for this and I'm going to try and get over. Hopefully I'm not going to get in the way of the camera so that I can line him up on top. I'm using soft suede and hopefully I'm going to line him up really well. Not too bad. I'm a bit off, but you know what? Not too bad. We're crafters. We're not perfect. So, and then I'm going to bring in the Big Shot and I'm going to cut him out with the Framelit. And I'm also going to use, I've got my stitched shape here. I'm going to use the second largest circle in the stitch shape. And I'm going to be able to do that at once. So I'll just bring in the Big Shot machine again. So please feel free to comment. Please feel free to give me the thumbs up if there's something that you like. It's fun crafting with you all and having a chat. It is super cute, isn't it, Pam? Yes, I agree. The raccoon is cute as. Okay. So I'm just going to line him up there on the Big Shot machine. Now with our new Framelits, what you need to do is be able to line them up, and I've only cut him out once before, so please bear with me, and I may not be as perfect as it should be. But as long as you can see all of the image, our Framelits are designed now that you can see most of the image when you're cutting it out. So you should be able to move it around that you can just see all the stamped images right up to the edge every way around. So I'm just going to run that through. And I'm also, while I've got the Big Shot here, so I'll just see, he's cute. He's really cute. Okay. And while I've got the Big Shot here, I've got a piece of Mango Melody. I want to do a larger one. So the largest stitch shape circle, I'm going to pop that back on and run that through because I need one of those as well. And that will be all of the Big Shot work done. So bear with me, I hope my table doesn't move while I'm doing that Big Shot work. Okay, so I'm just going to get that out of the way again. So I've got the largest circle, stitch circle. I've got the second largest white stitch circle, and I've got my super cute little bear. And there's one more thing that I wanted to stamp and I haven't done that. So I want to do the flower because I want him to hold a little flower. And I did that in Memento black ink. Got that over here. Okay, I'm just going to grab a thicker piece of Whisper White that I should have here to do the flower on. Hopefully that will be big enough. And let me find my flower. Okay, pop it onto a block. Will that be big enough for the flower? Yes, it will. Okay, So I'm just going to stamp that with my memento. There is also another solid part that you can colour the flower, but I'm actually going to colour the flower just with one of my blends. So the reason that I'm using the Memento black ink is to be able to use my blends with it. So I'm just going to, I think I'll use Lovely Lipstick, which I had out over here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use Mango Melody. Because we're using Mango Melody on the thing, I'm going to use Mango Melody to match it. Okay, so light Mango Melody. Just going to use the light. And there's nothing much to this colouring here. Just quickly colouring a bit of the dark, just on those dark shaded bits. I know you probably can't see that in the video, but the flower's so little, there's not a great deal that you have to do. I'm just going to bring in the Big Shot again and cut that flower out. There. And the framelit, which I had underneath here, there it is. Okay. So once again, line that up with your framelit and run that through. And I'm going to show you a little trick of what I did with this flower when I put the card together. So we've got the little flower here, okay? So I'm going to show you a little trick of what I did when I put this together, because first of all I thought, oh, I'll just glue it on there, it'll be fine. And when I did, I was like, oh, that looks a little bit average. So I thought I want it to look like he's really holding the flower, okay? So you'll see that when you glue it on just like that, it doesn't really look like he's holding the flower. It looks a little bit strange. So what I did was I grabbed my scissors and be careful here because you do poke your fingers, because I did stab myself a little bit when I did this, and I cut a little opening, okay? And then what I did was, with that opening and with the end of the flower, I stuck it through that little opening, okay? And then it looks like it actually is coming out of his hands. So that's just a little trick. You weren't going to get the umbrella set. So Fred Bristol, you weren't going to get the umbrella set, but now that you said about that rat, it is a must. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so that is actually how I got him to hold on to the flower. So that was one of the little tricks that I did. Now let's put this card together. I've been rambling on here for a while. There's a sentiment too that I did that said, for a very special someone. So I'm actually going to stamp that. I'm going to grab a block and I'm going to stamp that, I think, in soft suede. And I want that on my circle. I wish I was zoomed in closer. I should have zoomed it in before I started, but I can't zoom in now. So I'm just going to stamp that up the top of the circle for a very special someone. And then I'm going to layer those circles up with my dimensionals. Actually, no, I'm going to do it with Tombow first. Okay, so once again, my name is Donna Gray. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia, and I normally have everything a bit more together than what I have done this morning. It's just one of those days. So I'm then going to glue that directly down onto the front of my card. So up in that top 2/3 of my card. And then with my little raccoon, what I want to do is, with the dimensional, I want to stick the dimensional over the back where I have that flower coming through. I'm going to stick a dimensional, so that's going to actually hold the flower and stop the flower from moving. And we'll pop him up. And I also want to pop a dimensional on the back of the flower to make the flower pop up. Now dimensionals just add that 3D dimension to your card and just add that wow factor. Popping up layers on your cards just makes that wow factor a little bit more. Okay, Priscilla, maybe go out and refresh and come back in because it's all working good on this end. I can see it, I can hear it. So maybe go out and come back in again. So there we have, for a very special someone, and I've done that crooked, so I'm going to turn that around a bit. Wow, lucky I've got the wiggle room with for a very special someone. So I actually did it in our lovely lipstick as well. Well, they do belong in the rodent family, don't they? Correct, Janet, correct. Okay, so let's get into the swing of things. So sorry, that has been all those attempts at my live video and everything. Let's put that all out of our brain. So once again, that was using our coordination products that are coming. If you missed it, they're coming to customers on the 3rd of February. They are live now. We as demonstrators are able to purchase them now as demonstrators. If you want to get these coordination products, you can join my team by purchasing the starter kit and you're able to order these in a normal order. So it is a super cute little raccoon. So we'll pop that aside. I'll leave all my cards that I've made there. I'll pop that all in my basket. Okay, the next one is a favorite of mine. This is the gorgeous birthday, happy birthday, what's it called? Happy birthday to you. Okay, absolutely stunning set. And when I seen the birthday one, I was like, wow, I want that, but I would love it if we had it that we could cut out the birthday cake, cut out the flowers. So I'm going to show you now that, so the coordination, this has coordination products with it as well. So the coordination framelits are these. Now, the coordination framelits cuts out the birthday cake. Sorry, turn it over the right way. Cuts out the birthday cake here. But you can also stamp the flowers and cut out the flowers as well. So you'll see in this card, that's actually what I've done. I've actually stamped the flowers a few times and cut out the flowers as well as the cake. So I did it in Pretty Peacock and Mint Macaron. Soft Sea Foam is the colour that I have done for the lighter colour here for the leaves and the blending with the blends. I'm going to do a different colour scheme today, so I'm actually going to use a bit of Night of Navy and a bit of Seaside Spray. So what we'll do is I want to stamp the big cake, so that's mounted on my block, and I'll get the rest out in a little while. Okay, so when it comes to stamping the cake, I actually want to use basic grey. You can use your Memento because we're going to colour with the blends, but I would actually prefer to use the basic grey. Sometimes I like a softer colour. I like it not to be as dark as the Memento. So I'm actually going to use the basic grey, and I'm going to stamp that down here because we're going to colour one that we're going to leave it like that, but I actually also want to stamp again to get some flowers. So I'm just going to stamp here. The main thing is I want the flowers. So I've stamped there just to get the flowers, and I probably have stamped off a little bit too much there, but I'll try and get them all on here. Okay, and like that. Okay, so now we're actually going to get in and we're going to do a little bit of colouring with our blends. So what I'm actually going to use is the light, oh that's Balmy Blue, I wanted the Sea Foam. Light Seaside Spray, that's the one I want. And I've got the dark Night of Navy. So what I'm actually going to do is and I so wish I could zoom in, but it will let me zoom in. There you go. So I've zoomed in, so you'll be able to see my colouring a little bit closer up. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm just going to the center of the flowers and a little bit of shading here where the stamp has already done the shading for us, okay? And I'm just going to do a little bit around the edges, just a little bit around the edges of the flowers. Now the main thing that I can say with our blends is to make sure you load a lot of colour onto the image that you're blending, okay? So the more that we go over, so I'm using the light balmy blue here, sorry, the light Seaside Spray as my colouring, okay? So that's all I'm going to do. What will happen is the ink will move. Like while we're colouring here, the ink is going to move on our cardstock, and it's going to blend and it's going to give us a smoother look when the ink decides to move on its own. So so don't be scared with using our blends. The main thing I say to people is have a go, get in, colour, load up that colour, because the more you do that, the more it then blends out and looks lovely. So I'm using the larger tip on here, and you can see I'm going over that dark a couple of times. Can even go back again and blend again, and when you go back again and blend again, it moves that ink again, okay? Christine, use a craft knife and cut around one of his paws. You know what? You could do that, Christine, but Christine, I am so bad with a craft knife. There is no way you would let me loose with a craft knife. I have tried. When I first got into crafting, one of the first things that I wanted to do, and I don't know whether, type in the comments whether you've been somebody that has tried it, paper tolling. And paper tolling was where you print out, you have printed images and you have several of the same image printed, and you actually cut around the pieces and you pop different pieces up and layer different pieces up. I was totally in love with it. When I seen it, I was totally in love with it, and I thought, I want to do that. I tried several times, and I can tell you my paper tolling, my cutting skills with a craft knife is not good. So you know what, Christine, you can go right ahead and you can go and cut around their paws, his paws, because there is no way I would be capable of doing that. So now I'm just gonna, the little flowers, I'm gonna do these little buds I'm going to do with the dark, so the Night of Navy dark. Just going to do those buds. And I've popped a little bit of colour just on those flowers there, the opened buds. Okay, I think I'm going to use my soft sea foam for the flowers again, because sorry, for the leaves, because I just want a light colour for those leaves. So this is the Seaside Spray. Oh, dearie me, soft sea foam. Those two colours I get mixed up. So I'm using the Seaside Spray as the light blue, and I'm using our light soft sea foam for the leaves. It's one of those days today. I just think words aren't working for me today. The technology was not working, but look at that cake and those flowers. Does that not look stunning? Okay, I'm going to go in and colour these flowers again, so bear with me. Sorry, there's a bit of colouring happening. So once again, just popping a bit of that dark where I can see the shaded pieces on the flower, and where you think a shadow might be formed on the flower, and then back through with my light Seaside spray and just colour in there. Sorry, wrong end. Colour in and blend straight over the top. Now the one thing that people make the mistake, they're scared about going over the top of that dark. The way that we make these blends blend is to go in over those colours. That is what makes it blend. The ink on top of the other ink is what makes these blends work. So a word of advice, load up as much ink as you can on your image, and the more that you add, the better it is. So Christine said that she uses the grey and the brown and the blue rather than the black for the back image. So we can use any of our Stampin' Write ink pads to be the outline image because they are water-based ink and we're using alcohol-based blends. We can use any of our Stampin' Write ink pads, which is awesome. So don't think that you're just limited to using the Memento. So hopefully I've taught somebody something about that we can use our different ink pads. So as you can see, I go back in, add a little bit more, and it blends it a little bit more. But it makes those colours blend, and I think it gives a really stunning look. Okay, Susan, where's Susan? Looks like a burn. Are you talking about my hand? Okay, I'm so sorry about my hand. Yes, okay, I'll explain what happened to me. I was away on Christmas holidays and I was putting down shade cloth for our meals area. We camp at Christmas and we camp at the beach, and I was putting down shade cloth and I was hammering in small pegs and I got a blood blister on my thumb from the hammer. Sometimes I'm thinking, does it mean that I'm not good with hard labor work? Does it show that my hands are soft? And I got a blood blister. And so that was okay. I coped with that. And then when I came home from holidays, we have a Toyota Coaster bus that we camp in. And when I came home from holidays, we had to wash the bus because we'd been at the beach area and we needed to get the salt air all off it. And so I was washing our bus with a broom, and from the broom handle I got a second blood blister. So my thumb, I don't know why, but my thumb was absolutely copping it, and so now this is the leftover. I feel like, I don't know, it got slightly infected. It was super sore, like really sore. And so I put an antibiotic ointment on it and it's got a lot better now. So I didn't get burnt. It's just from doing a little bit of hard manual labor. So I'm just going to go back through now and do my leaves with my soft sea foam. I was right. I this morning I don't know, I didn't think I had it right, but I second guessed myself there. So I'm just in colouring those leaves, and as you can see, I'm not being overly particular of how I'm colouring those, and I'll do those little buds. Sorry, the colouring takes a long time. And I've got one flower here that I haven't coloured yet. Okay, so I'm just going to flower, a few bits in there. And I missed a leaf there too. Okay, and back over with the light. So you can see that blending with the blends, it works really well, and there's a couple of buds there I haven't done too. There. Soft sea foam. And because we have the framelits, we can then cut out these flowers. Oh, and there's some there, wow. Thought I had it all done. Okay, so now I'm just going to bring in the big shot and I'm going to cut out with those framelits that match. We'll cut out our cake and our flowers. I'm also a hairdresser, could have been curling tongs. No, it was just the good old hammer. Hammering tent pegs into the ground, that's all it was. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on my cake and cut my cake out. There. So nothing as drastic as burning myself, but just a blood blister. But the first blood blister was like quite a bad blood blister, like it had gone quite deep. Okay, so now you're going to get to see how we cut out the beautiful cake. Plus you can cut out the gorgeous flowers. Okay, so I've got one lot of flowers there to cut out as well, so I'll cut them out. And that one I went off the end a little bit, but I'm sure it will still be okay. Okay, so like that, and we'll run that back through. Oh, and I'm still zoomed in. I have to zoom out. Sorry, I'll zoom out, everyone. I've just looked up at this screen. I'm like, wow, that big shot was very, very close. Let's zoom back out. Can we? There we go. Okay. Much better. All right, so now let's get to putting this back together again now. I'll put my framelits together so I don't lose those. Okay, so I'm actually going to, on this front layer, I'm going to do something really special because on my card, you may not see it in the video, but I've actually embossed that layer as well. So what I want to do is I want to pop my cake on here where I can see where my cake, and I want it to actually like sit off a little bit off my layer. Now there's a, I'm going to do happy birthday on here, so I'm going to mount that up onto a block if I can find one. That one there will do. And I'm going to use my Seaside spray, I think, for that. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to use Night of Navy. I think Seaside spray is going to be too light. Might use Night of Navy instead. So I've lined that up so I can see where I can fit the happy birthday. So as you can see, I wanted to see where I could stamp my happy birthday, have my cake on here, but be able to stamp the happy birthday in place. So I'm going to stamp it down there. So we've got happy birthday. Now also in this stamp set, there's these cute little dots. So I wanted to use the cute little dots just to put a little bit of interest around where the cake's going to sit. So I can see that the cake's going to sit sort of around there. So I want to pop some dots in around here to create a little bit of interest happening around our cake. Okay, so that's going to be really, really nice. So now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go, and hopefully it's there in front. Yes, it is. I'm going to grab my subtle embossing folder. Now that I've stamped that layer, I want to emboss that with my subtle embossing folder. So this embossing folder just creates a little bit of interest on your layers, on your cards. And even at my catalogue launch party yesterday, everyone was saying, what have you done in behind that card? What have you done? I said, I've used the subtle embossing folder. And it just creates a really nice textured background. But the idea is you really need to stamp first so that you get all your stamped images on really nice. And then, sorry, I've got to run it through. Oh, this is the, okay, so this is an older one of our embossing folders. So because it's an older one, it's actually thicker than our new 3D embossing folders. So I have to go back to just the base plate and one cutting pad over the top, and that's going to emboss it. Now, it is a little bit confusing with our products at the moment, but if you, all the brand new products, you'll be using the new blue embossing plate. I just forgot that that was one of the older ones. Now in our new catalogue, and when they send them all out, they're all going to be the new style so that you use that blue embossing plate with it. Okay, so I'm not sure whether you can see that well enough, but it gives you a gorgeous textured background. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but it gives you a really nice, gorgeous textured background. Okay, so I have a Whisper White card base once again, thick Whisper White cut at 5 3/4 inches by 8 inches. And fold it in half and scored. Okay, I'm going to glue these two layers together with my Tombow. And the way you know with our embossing folders which way is up, if you've got the Stampin' Up emblem up towards you, so in any of our embossing folders, if the black Stampin' Up is facing up towards you, that's the top of your embossed layer. But it is personal preference. You can use your layers any way you want. You don't have to use them up one way or the other. If you like the opposite way it looks on the opposite side, go for it. It's good to chat while I was colouring. Yeah, it took a little while. I'm sorry for that. So the Subtles is one of your favourite embossing folders, Honeybees. Yes, it's a gorgeous embossing folder. Now, I have some of the Seaside Spray ribbon here, and I'm just going to... if I can get out my snail out of here, I'm just going to pop a little bit of snail down on the front of my card. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of snail, just a couple of rows of snail here that's going to be underneath our cake, okay? And then what I want to do is I want to pop a zigzag of this ribbon that's going to go in under our cake. So I want it out far enough. I'll probably end up cutting the end off this, but that's totally okay. And I want to zigzag it and stick it into that snail. And I'm just going to keep checking with my cake where I'm going to sit my cake and how it's going to look. And I want another zigzag to come down through there. So that's totally okay. So I think that's going to be fine now. And like that. Let's see. And the cake on top here, and yes, that's going to look quite good. Okay, so I'm just going to trim the end off that ribbon. And I think that's going to look quite good. I'm going to make sure I got my cake happening out over here that we can still see the happy birthday. Okay, that'll be fine. So I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on the back of my cake. Yes, Christine, we've had a little bit of relief. We got a bit of rain and that helped a lot of the fires. And thank you everyone for your messages. asking were we okay, and we were actually, as far as the fires and as far as where I live, I was more in danger back in November. They were about a 20-minute drive away, but we've been very, very fortunate that they've been far enough away. Yes, we were lucky enough that it didn't get close enough that we were actually in danger at all. So, that's not to say that the poor people around us that were 20 minutes away were having some pretty harrowing times as well. So I'm actually going to be doing, if you're local and you live in this local area, I'm actually putting together a fundraiser with the local quota ladies and quota club ladies, and we're actually going to be doing a fun crafty fundraiser in our local area, and all of the profit from the day that we're putting on will be going to our local firefighters here in our local area. So if you're local and you watch me and you want to do something to help these awesome volunteers, it's going to be, we haven't locked down the date, we're going to lock down the date hopefully on Monday, and I'll give you more details when I find out the date. But we're looking at the 8th of February or maybe the 15th of February. So, but it's going to be a fun event that you can come along. And I'm actually thinking that I want to try and probably do some type of live event as well. But I'm sort of in the process of working out what we're going to do. Do that way. Yes. So I'm just going to pop that lot of flowers up on top there. So you can see, like, even the difference in just the colouring. Look at the two gorgeous cards. So inside, I actually did the inside of this too. And so inside I'm going to stamp the word celebrate. So I'll grab that on a block. In my Night of Navy. So I'm actually going to glue this flower just down in the bottom corner. So, and this is what is fantastic with these coordination products. It allows us to do more things, you know, like being able to stick a flower in there. You could actually even cut that apart. You don't actually have to keep it in the 3 flowers. I did look at it. You could actually section this one off and have a single flower and have a double flower, which is fantastic as well. So I'm just going to stamp the word celebrate there. So I've got happy birthday in the front. I've got the word celebrate there, and I'm just going to grab my Seaside spray and pop a few of those cute little dots in around. Okay, so you can see there, sorry, I'll zoom in a little bit. That's a little bit far away. There, that might be a little bit better. That can see a little bit better. But you can see just those little sprays of dots just makes, I don't know, adds that little bit of interest. Susan said the fires are so devastating. You're praying as well. Your husband is a volunteer fireman in Michigan, 25 years. Yes, it is scary. And I mean, sadly to say, some of the firefighters have lost their lives trying to help people. And I was actually talking to the quota ladies yesterday when we were trying to sort out our fundraiser, and the lady that I was talking to, her sister and her husband thought that they were going to die. The fire got so close, and 2 firefighters helped them out and got them out and told them to run as fast as they could. And they were so lucky that they didn't actually get didn't lose their lives in the fire, and they saved their house and the house beside them, but the rest of the street, the whole houses were all destroyed, you know, like, so, and now she's having a bit of a hard time with the guilt of I've survived and so many other people didn't. So that's the other side of it as well, you know, the mental thing for all of the poor people that have been affected. So it has been a really hard time for Australia, and we were actually only discussing it yesterday, saying that we don't think that it has ever been this bad. You missed the dies, Glenda? Yes, we can order them now. Glenda's on my team. We can order them now, Glenda, and I did pop up the pictures and all the codes and everything in our team page. So if you missed that, jump on to the Wild Heart Crafters team page and you'll find all that info there. You'll see the pictures of them all and what's available. Okay, so that's that one there. So I'll move that one aside and we'll move on. Yes, exactly, Christine. It's good to chat with people to find out, you know, like there's so many people and so many stories and so many people that have been affected by it. And, you know, like you thank your lucky stars that we're still here to live to tell the tales, but some other people have not been that lucky. Okay, the last and final card that I'm going to do today is using the Super Ladybug Stamp Set. Now you have to love this stamp set. It is simply stunning. Now the only way that you can get this stamp set is to place either a $500 order online. When you purchase $500 worth of Stampin' Up products right at the very moment, you will be able to earn this for free. You get this stamp set for free. Now, I purchased it when we had product purchase premiere from Onstage. I purchased it and I thought it was a super, super cute little stamp set. And yes, we have coordination dies with it. So I actually didn't use it until I could use the coordination dies. I actually didn't have a play with it. So as you can see, we've got the framelit that will cut out the flower. We've got a framelit that will actually cut out the flower piece itself without the stem. We have a framelit that will cut out the cute little one that flies. We have a framelit that will cut out this cute little one here. We have a framelit that will cut out this cute little one here. We have a framelit that will cut out, I may be wrong, no, that one's it, I think, that one there. We also have a framelit that will cut out some grass, if you want some grass, some leaves, some flowers. There's an embossed stitched die here. There's a framelit, I think, to cut out the little dots for the ladybug. So is there a way folks in the States can donate to your February event? Beverly, I'm thinking, Beverly, that I'm going to hold an online event. And if that's the case and I hold an online event, I will allow for people from overseas to join the online event, and it will be a case of you can donate to be part of the Facebook group, and then I will then do some crafting videos and things to as a bit of a thing to raise some money. So I'm in the process of getting that done as well, because there is a lot of my friends that I know from over in the States and overseas that would love to contribute and help to the devastation here in Australia. So I will be doing an event like that. So I just have to get details all sorted and ready to go. But it will be happening. Okay, let's get on to crafting again. So I want to stamp the big flower, and I also want to stamp the little flying ladybug. So I'll grab those two out. And I've got a piece of, so once again, I have I'm just going to try and find a block that's going to be big enough to fit that. And it's this one that I used in here somewhere. Where did I use it? No. Sorry, bear with me. I'm trying to find my block here that's big enough to fit that flower. Oh, I know, it's the cake one. There, I'll take the cake off. I knew I'd used it. I was like, oh my God, I used it somewhere. So thank you for sticking with me all this morning. You people have been real troopers sticking with me. That one and that one there. But these products are gorgeous, and I mean, any wonder, like to see these products in action is so much fun. Okay, so I've pop my card up there so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so on this here, I need a scrap piece of paper. I'll just use that Whisper White. So I'm using my Memento Black ink again because I want to be able to use my blends. So I'm using my Memento Black ink to stamp my flowers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to stamp one flower just here. I'm going to ink that up again. And I'm going to stamp one flower up here. I'm going to ink it up again. I'm going to stamp a flower down in here, and then I'm going to stamp a flower on a spare bit of white to be able to, sorry, I'm out of the camera there, to be able to pop one up. Okay, so I've got 3 flowers here, and then I'm going to use the back of this that I've just used. I'm going to ink it up so we have one that we can cut out. Oh, you were binge watching The Crown, Kayla, were you? Priorities, I'm glad I'm one of your priorities then, Kayla, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to stamp a big flower there, and I'm also going to stamp my little ladybug with my Memento, just there. Okay, so now we're going to do some more colouring again. Don't you just love the blends? Like, if you haven't used your blends, all of our stamps are so wonderful to be using our blends with. So get them out. Have a great time with them. Today's. Oh, Glenda, I know you've lost. I didn't know that today was it. I'm sorry. Hugs to you, Glenda. Okay, so I'm using my light granny apple green for the leaves. I'll get that back up there a bit. Do you want me to zoom in again for my colouring? Do you need to see me colouring like I am? Oops, I stamped that one over that one, but that's okay. All right. Now, one of the main things is not to go too close out to your stamped image, because it can tend to, the ink can tend to transfer outside your stamped image. So, but in all respect as well, these days with the watercolouring and things, it's okay that you don't stay within the lines. I don't know about you, but with my eyesight these days, it's a little bit hard to keep within the lines. So I've used granny apple green there. I'm going to use my dark granny apple green just to add a little bit of, in the leaves, just a bit of darkness in those leaves in the center, down that vein of the leaf. And then go back over just with my light, just to blend that a little bit in the leaves. And there, and there. Okay, so there's the leaves done. All right, the next thing I did, my flowers, I've got Dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to, sorry, with the large end, I'm going to add a little bit of colour coming out from the center of my flower. So once again, letting that stamp do our shading for us. It shows us where those lines are, and then I'm going to go through with my light pineapple punch and blend that Dark Daffodil Delight in and colour the rest of my petals. And in all honesty, these images are quite big for us to be able to colour, so it makes our colouring a lot easier. You love it. Curly Top says that she loves watching my videos. Thank you. I'm glad I entertain you. This morning I've been all over the shop. It's just one of those days today. Nothing wanted to go right. My words wouldn't work. But I've now got it together. It's now all happening and everything's going okay. So touch wood, we're going all right. Modern technology just didn't want to work for me today. And do you know what? Sometimes going back to the old easy ways, although until I had a team member try to call me and then cut out my video. But third time was a charm. We've been going now for a while. On the third go, touch wood, nothing else happens. Okay. And back through, so with the dark Pineapple Punch, back through with, with the dark Daffodil Delight for our darker shading bits, and then back through with our Pineapple Punch. Now this will bleed through your cardstock, so if you're going to do anything with it, you need to have a layer in behind. So we're going to go back through now and do this flower here. Oh, wrong end. You adore the ladybugs? Yeah, it's a cute set. And I actually was saying I want to do, we have a beetle here that's like a ladybug, but it's actually called a Monoliptus beetle, and it's a very destructive bug here in Australia, and it gets into, we actually sell plants, and it gets into our lily-pilly trees. And when the Monoliptus bug comes out and it gets into the lily-pilly trees, they just go crazy. You have thousands and thousands of these Monoliptus bugs going crazy, eating and chewing and munching away at the lily-pillies. And I said to my husband, I actually really want to do one of those colours, and they're actually orange and black. They're not red and black, they're actually orange and black. And oh, no worries, Christine. Sorry, it's so late for you. Sorry about that. And I actually wanted to, be able to colour them, like do that type of colouring. And he said, oh, you'd probably have everyone in Australia going, oh my God, that bug's a pest. And I said, but they are still so pretty. Even though they are a pest, they've got that gorgeous colouring and they're still so pretty as far as the ladybugs are concerned. Okay, so I've done it in light, and I've realised now that the one that I did it in dark. So I'm just going to go back through and go with my, and this is lovely lipstick that I'm colouring with here. And I just go straight over the black pieces in it. It's totally okay. And I'm going to use, just for its face, I'm going to use our Petal Pink. Petal Pink? Yes, light Petal Pink. And I'm just going to, on its body, just some of the light Petal Pink just on some of the bands on its body. And that's all the colouring that I'm actually going to do for the lady beetle. So I'm just going to grab the Big Shot now and bring the Big Shot in, and we'll cut that flower out and our ladybug out. Okay. And I'll zoom out a bit more again so you can see. So we have the framelit to cut out the flower, and we also have the framelit to cut out our little ladybug. Now I'm using my magnetic platform here so that it's fantastic for lining up your dies and they stay in place. And it makes it easy for cutting. Sometimes though, the magnets, when you've got a smaller die, the magnets will jump and it will jump the framelit around. If that's the case, either sometimes turn your cutting plate over, sometimes your cutting plate might be a little bit bowed and it's not connecting with the magnets really well. Or sometimes just move your cardstock to get it to go where it needs to be. So we have our flower that we've cut out, and we have our cute little ladybug. And we'll grab those and get that out of the way. Oop. Okay, put them back in there so I don't lose them. All right. Now, you can see this coming together, that it's pretty super cute. I'm going to use my lovely lipstick, and there is a stamp in here that says spread your wings and fly. And I think that is such an awesome sentiment. It could be used for many different reasons. Yeah, it could be for somebody that is starting out on something and they're starting to achieve something. Like, I feel like it could be for one of my team members, that I could say spread your wings and fly, like people that have decided to turn their Stampin' Up into a business and run it as a business. Now I want that to sit there, and I want this one to actually sit there like he's gonna take off. Like, it's like, I'm gonna spread my wings and I'm gonna fly. Oh, we've got people talking to each other here. So you're living in the same area, Kathy. Kathy's saying that they're neighbours. Kathy and Susan. Okay, so that's about all the stamping that I'm going to do. And now it's time just to pop this card together. So once again, I have a Whisper White, thick, cut at 5 3/4 by 8 inches, scored at 4 inches, and folded in half. Now I'm going to add these together. So I'm going to pop up our flower, and I'm also going to pop up our lady beetle. So I'll just pop a few dimensionals on the back of my flower. And it may, depending on whether it's going to be a little bit too long, I may just trim the stem off on my flower. I think I trimmed the stem off on my sample card that I did. So I want it just to sit in here. Also too, I don't mind that it's going to overlap here. I'm probably going to cut off the stem here. I don't mind that it's going to overlap here. I've got a layer that I'm going to put in behind. And it's totally okay that that's going to go over that layer. So I'll just cut off that stem there. Don't be scared to go outside your layers and things. So I'm just going to, with that one, I want, actually, you know what? In the middle of my flowers, and I forgot, I used our light basic black to do the middle of the flowers. So I better do that, just to make them a bit dark. I use the light so that you can still see a little bit of shading through them. I just remember when I went to glue him on there that center wasn't looking like that, and that's okay. The other one bit underneath is fine. We can't see it. Okay, so I'm just going to, with some dimensionals. Amazing card, Kathy. Thank you. I had fun. I actually made this card for my catalogue launch yesterday so that people could see, because this Ladybug set is just so cute. So I actually made it. So I've got dimensionals on the top half. I'm also going to pop some liquid Tombow on the bottom of there. Okay, because it's going to sit onto the flower. So I've got it popped up, and then the bottom half of the little lady beetle is going to sit on the flower. Okay, so then I'm going to layer that onto a piece of lovely lipstick, and it's cut just 1/8 inch smaller, the Whisper White layer compared to, or you could say the lovely lipstick layer is cut 1/8 inch larger than my Whisper White layer. So I'm just going to do that with my Tombow. So Molly, are you asking me or are you asking someone else? Do I know Sherry Sturfer in Navarone? She's a stamper. Because I don't even know where that is. You may be asking somebody else on there. Am I going to Utah in November? You'd love to meet me at convention. Do you know what? I'm answering here Debbie Cox. Debbie, honestly, if I can get to Utah in November, if I can afford it, I'm going. So yes, you may be able to get to meet me. I would love to. I'm hopefully going to go to New Orleans in August with everything all going well. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get over there because I would love to, but it depends on whether finances are going to allow me to do it. So, okay, so I'm going to use some of the ribbon. So this is our Daffodil Delight ruched ribbon. So I'm going to trim a little piece of that ribbon that's going to be long enough to go across there. I'm going to grab some glue dots and pop some glue dots on the end. You could do double-sided tape or you could do it with glue dots. It's totally up to you how you do this. This is how I save on ribbon. I don't tie it all the way around. So I want that just to be a ribbon up in that top section there. So the glue dots, so you just wrap it around and press the glue dots in, and the glue dots will hold it in behind your card there. And now I'm just going to pop that up on dimensionals and pop it on the front of the card. Are you going, Kayla? Are you going to go to New Orleans? I'm hoping I can get there. I really am, but it's, I don't know, everything's just so up in the air at the moment. I'm still trying to pay for Maui things, and I'm still trying to organize that. It's just going to be such a busy, hectic time for us. You know, like we're going to be in Maui in July, and end of August, hopefully New Orleans, and then November, hopefully, to go to the big 3-day on-stage event. So hopefully. Okay, so I'm just going to take the backings off all those. Sorry, I'm turning around here, like trying to read all the comments here on. Well, Kayla, I hope I am. I really do. I hope I get there. Okay, so I'm just going to mount that onto the front of my card, up on dimensionals. And then I'm going to tie a cute little bow. Okay, so we've got a cute little bow happening there, so that's cute. Okay, now you may think I'm crazy by doing this. Lots of people just use a glue dot. I have a phobia about my bows coming off, so I actually use a little bit of double-sided tape and I pop it across my ribbon that's on the front and onto my cardstock, so it's going across my ribbon and it's also attaching to my cardstock on both sides. And then I take the backing off and I pop my ribbon into that, my bow into that. And it just, I don't know, I sometimes here with our weather and our humidity and things, sometimes with the glue dot, it tends to want to, the bow tends to want to fall off all the time. So, and just to finish this off, I looked at that and I thought, I would actually like it to be a little bit more blingy. So I think I could do, for my lady beetle, I think I can do Wink of Stella on her beautiful wings. So we'll pop a bit of Wink of Stella on there and a bit of Wink of Stella on here. Okay, so that's just given her some beautiful shimmer and shine. I'm not sure whether you can see that in the video. And then, just to finish off, I'm going to use some of these gorgeous glitter epoxy drops. And they are in, we had them in Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, Lovely Lipstick, or Melon Mambo, I think, and Gorgeous Grape. So, and I tend to like to do them in 3. So I'm going to pop one there, and I'm going to pop, and I did have smaller ones on my sample, but I've run out of the small ones, and I'm going to pop another one. Just, you take your pick tool is fantastic for these glitter dots and things, to be able to pick them up and do it. But you can see there, just by adding those gorgeous little epoxy drops, it just creates a bit more bling and a bit more interest. So this was my sample card, and that was the one that I've just done with you now. So I'm just going to bring back in all of the super, super cute cards that we've done. So this is using our coordination products. So that is the gorgeous Ladybug one. We've got our beautiful Happy Birthday to You set. And we've got the gorgeous To a Very Special Someone. So you can see there some great cards and some great coordination products to be able to cut out those stamped images, because if you're anything like me, fussy cutting is not a big major thing that I like to do. So it's actually, I'll just bring that in a bit. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Whoa, too far. Too far. There. Okay. So there's our gorgeous, beautiful cards once again. So now I'm going to see if I can maybe flip you around. So don't get giddy here so that you get to see me again. Hang on, let's flip this that way. Okay. This is what happens when you do it the manual way. So thank you very much for watching me today, and thank you very much for absolutely like putting up with all of the muck-ups and things that happened today. But I bought you some crafting anyway, so hopefully next week it will be a little bit better. And next week I will be back live on YouTube again on Saturday morning. It won't be Sunday morning, it will be actually Saturday morning. The only reason I was on Sunday this week was because I had my catalogue launch party yesterday. So once again, my name's Donna Gray. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. And any of the items that I have used today, other than the coordination framelits, can be purchased through my online store. And I will pop some information down in the bottom of the link. If you wanted to go to my online store, it's just www.DonnaGray, and Gray is spelled Gray, .stampinup.net. But when this video uploads properly to YouTube, I will edit the video, and in the description box down below you'll be able to see all the information and the links to be able to access my online store. I would really appreciate some online orders. It helps me be able to bring you more videos like this. If this is the first time that you have watched me live, please feel free to share. Even if you're watching the replay, share it back onto your Facebook profile page. It helps get my crafting out there. And I will be picking a winner from this this YouTube live, and I will be announcing the winner next week on my channel. So I will go back through the comments and check out the comments later on and pick a winner. And as I said, the winner will be winning probably one of the free celebration stamp sets that are available at the moment. And I can only send them to people in Australia. So I need to hopefully pick an Australian to be able to do it. If I pick someone from overseas, I will send you one of my cards from here. So thank you everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you again next week. Thank you. Bye for now.